Welcome to Live on Purpose. Thank you for watching another great episode. Today we're going to explore a little something different as we're out in the communities talking to people, uncovering and exploring what's behind the curtain and behind the scenes. We meet a lot of great people with a lot of great causes. Today you'll see clips from 3 different shows. A mother celebrating her son after he had been killed by senseless violence. A community forum coming together to see what we can do next. And lastly, you'll see as we explore mental illness and addiction and how they police our people. Tune in, get your glass of wine, and let's get it. Joanne, mother of Mustafa McWhorter, celebrates her son's birthday annually here at Edgewater Park. The 18-year-old was fatally shot outside of the Eastman branch of the Cleveland Public Library on the west side of Cleveland. Many lovingly referred to him as MJ. Joanne and his siblings keep his memory alive by continuing his cause to stop the violence. This young man had been a victim of bullying all of his life and decided to take up a cause, stop the violence. He decided to use that bullying and that fear to motivate others to do better, put down the guns, love one another, and be unified. Recently, on an episode of Live on Purpose, Joanne speaks about how 41 days after Mustafa's death, finally the captors were caught. However, she looks at this as a blessing. Although she mourns the loss of her son, she feels that this is a platform to not only bring awareness to gun violence in the streets of Cleveland, but also to unify the community, bring together police officers, community leaders, as well as parents to stop the violence. Joanne works tirelessly, and we applaud her efforts. We'll always support Joanne and MJ #1. May the loss of this young man's life not be in vain, but be a speaking and sounding board for stopping the violence in Cleveland city streets as well as the city streets all over America. MJ #1, stop the violence. We applaud you, Joanne, and we'll always be there.
We're supposed to do this. And I believe, I know for a fact, if we join together and be together, we will go a long way. We will be prosperous because we're already blessed. That's what we're minus that. Unity. We're minus that. And that's what we need today. First of all, we need love to produce the unity and some understanding.
It's so many stories not being told out here. So much information that people miss. We're able to expose the truth and the real in our community. So that's the concept, bringing the light to people who may not get the light that they deserve in the public. I think it's an easy transition. Entrepreneurship and entertainment should go hand in hand. And that's another thing we want to do with Live on Purpose. A lot of people are talented out here and they just don't know that they need to know the business side of it. And because I am skilled in that area, I'm willing to give that information to people. So Live on Purpose, again, it's a movement. It's helping people educate themselves to grow within their talents and their gifts. Romeo Barnes is a community activist here in Cleveland, Ohio. He strives to bring youth answers to the problems that they face every day. Today, Romeo Barnes asked the question to the community, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Many came out to hear the answers. Panelists came from all diverse walks of life here in Cleveland, all to the table to bring answers, resources, and feedback as to how we can bridge the gap between the youth and adults. It's our responsibility to make sure that the community is safe for our children, our elderly, and our future. So we came to the table to answer Romeo's question, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And I think in the end, we all decided, yes we are. It's time to be accountable. Many talked about the resources available to not only youth, but also parents, so that we can bridge the educational gap. We also talked about many solutions, and one was simply going up to our young people and starting a conversation about how we can help. Live on Purpose salutes Romeo Barnes and will always support his community events as well as his quest to stop the violence and bring unity to our youth in Cleveland.
I'm only 15, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm 15. The whole purpose of this event is called for these people to really about. Everybody on this panel, everybody here. Now, if y'all ask some of the questions or anything about family, we here. These two young men right here are over 18 and 26. They want to get jobs. They trying to get job applications. People keep calling this young man right here stand up. He said he keep putting applications. He get distracted because they don't want to fall back. Everybody have any answers for that? Talk to him.
Don't talk to gentlemen that look like this at this age or what have you. Romeo, tell us about how you do with a little bit about that.
First of all, you have to be real, you have to be your heart, and actually care about what's going on with you. Like I said, this mechanism, you have to actually care. You have to actually give back. You have to actually be a brother's keeper. You have to be parents. You have to actually be, you got to care. This is love. Like love. This is not love fear. This is being our own things. This is each other in the league. We'll want to be, they're going to have to read, they're going to have to prom, they're going to have to song. Just from about age, like from the age to the work. But we create our own lives. We create our own lives. So all that we discourage about we create our own lives. And all of this we talk about that. And he's going to get more short.
We got to step up. As adults, as the elders, we must step up. We got to step up and we got to get our kids off the streets. We got to take them back. That's the only way it's going to happen is if we step up. Kids don't know what a choice is. So you don't need them to make a choice. A lot of kids, they have no idea what a choice is. So don't leave them out there to make it blind. We have to step in on some of this stuff. I mean, if there's a child out there that has a question, that needs an answer, anything, we need to be there to answer, whether it's our child, our family, our friend, or a complete stranger. Just be there. Everybody needs to step up here. When we got resources that's open out there and available and people know about them, step up. Everything should be available to the youth. The youth should have access. The youth shouldn't feel like they can talk to you or me because they look at them in an adverse way because of how they're dressed. should be open. Our arms should be open to embrace our youth and to be there for them and to give them these resources. I mean, literally, throw them down, shove them down their throat. We got to give it to them. And that's all I'm going to say, because at the end of the day, we got to step up for our youth.
Cassandra McDonald, candidate for state representative for District 8 in the city of Cleveland, held a community forum at a library to address mental illness and addiction as it relates to policing in the city of Cleveland. Many came together to discuss how mental illness should be handled by the police as they serve and protect, as well as addiction. Should there be addiction courts? Should there be more addiction support while inmates are incarcerated? These questions were asked and many more as Cassandra led the charge with questions from the audience as well as questions from the panelists themselves. The panelists and attendees included ex-addicts, peer counselors, as well as educators, and myself, of course, representing Live on Purpose. We discussed many solutions, many problems, and many questions that still remain, as the need for these type of forums remain in our city. This discussion was prompted by the need for the community to understand the consent decree that was created by U.S. Department of Justice versus Cleveland, Ohio, in their quest to better police people that suffer from mental illness and addiction. Should the Miranda rights of people who suffer from mental health and addiction be adjusted to better accommodate their needs? Should the approach of the police be different as they go to apprehend their suspect? These questions and more were addressed during this forum, but the questions aren't all answered, and we're depending on Cassandra McDonald as she runs for candidate for state representative of District 8 to answer these questions and lobby for us and more. We're proud of Cassandra McDonald, and Live on Purpose will always support her event.
What goes on in this house stays in this house, and that's kind of how we have come up through the generations. And I think at this point, it needs to be, like I said earlier, use your platform. I think it's imperative that anybody who has a voice use your platform to speak up and say, it's okay. This is actually, mental illness is actually a medical issue. Addiction is a medical issue, and it's okay to seek help. It's okay to say, yes, I have an addiction, or what have you, or yes, I was sexually abused. People look at me when I don't mind telling people I was sexually abused. It happened, okay? I don't mind speaking about it because there's somebody somewhere who needs to hear me as a public figure speak about that. So I think that's what we're still hiding behind what goes on in this house stays in this house. And like you said, you said some of the prettiest faces have addictions or have mental illness. That's the truth. And I think until it becomes, okay to go see, tell your grandmother you want to go see a therapist. They're going, oh no, we're going to have them all in our business. It's just something that we as a race, we don't do. We haven't done. Our culture is not, it's taboo, so to speak. And it needs
but it comes to me, if I may, is, we have this thing in my home. I teach my children against generational curses. I had many things happen to me growing up. I was molested by both my grandfathers. I was raped when I was 15 years old. I lived in a house with an alcoholic mother. My dad wasn't in the home, but he was also an alcoholic. In my entire life, my dad died when I was 22. I've seen him 3 times in my entire life. That's my biological father. So it was some things that I watched growing up that I refused to allow happen in my home. Now, as far as this addiction thing is concerned, I was
Thank you for tuning in to another great show of Live on Purpose. We applaud the efforts of Joanne McWhorter, Romeo Barnes, and Cassandra McDonald, and many more just like them who want to make a better community in the city of Cleveland. Call on Live on Purpose and we'll be there to support your event and your cause. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at Purpose Speaks. Have a great day and see you again next Saturday.